The changing landscape of exotic currency redemption. Are U.S. banks quietly preparing? Welcome to Iraqi Dinar RV, your trusted source for updates on the Iraqi dinar and other exotic currencies. In recent months, the financial community has experienced a subtle yet powerful shift. Discussions that once lingered on the edges of online forums and niche investor groups are now creeping into mainstream financial conversations. A growing number of currency holders, bankers, and private wealth clients are all asking the same question. Are U.S. banks finally getting ready to redeem exotic currencies such as the Iraqi dinar, IQD, Vietnamese dong, VND, and Zimbabwean dollar, ZWL? While mainstream media remains silent, signals from inside the banking world, coupled with international developments, are too consistent to dismiss. For over a decade, exotic currency holders have waited in uncertainty. Now, in 2025, those holding these currencies may finally be witnessing the early signs of institutional readiness. From rumor to reality, shifting sentiment around exotic currencies for years, the topic of currency revaluation was considered speculative or even conspiratorial. The idea that certain undervalued currencies, especially the Iraqi dinar, could one day revalue and bring significant returns was met with skepticism. However, the conversation in 2025 is changing tone. Anecdotal reports and insider testimonies suggest that major U.S. banks are quietly preparing behind the scenes. Wealth management divisions, foreign exchange desks, and back-end banking software teams are reportedly undergoing subtle shifts in policy and protocol. While tellers and frontline staff may still be uninformed, internal adjustments are being reported by clients and financial insiders. Appointment-based consultations, rather than walk-in exchanges, are emerging as the preferred model for handling large currency holdings. This approach allows banks to manage the risk, ensure compliance, and verify the legitimacy of both the currency and its holder. Iraqi dinar IQD. Signs of institutional momentum among all exotic currencies, the Iraqi dinar IQD remains the most closely watched. Iraq's geopolitical position, rich natural resources, and efforts to rebuild its economy make it a unique case. In 2025, the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has taken bold steps to modernize the country's financial infrastructure. Major developments include a push toward a unified exchange rate, signaling a possible move away from the long-standing dual-rate system. Digital banking reforms aimed at improving cross-border transaction transparency. IMF praise, acknowledging Iraq's recent fiscal discipline and reform efforts. GDP growth projections of 5.6%, driven by non-oil sectors like construction, technology, and regional trade. These factors indicate that Iraq is aligning itself with international financial standards, a key prerequisite for any currency to become exchangeable on a global scale. While a full revaluation may still be distant or incremental, the groundwork is being laid. Reports from cities like Houston, Orlando, and Sacramento suggest banks are taking notice. A client of Wells Fargo in Texas was told by her banker that IQD-related policy updates were underway. In Florida, a Chase branch reportedly began scheduling VND-related consultations. HSBC in California requested pre-verification scans of currency notes, signs that banks are preparing to engage with exotic currencies in a structured way. Vietnamese dong, VND. A stable, slow path to global recognition. While Iraq represents a nation rebuilding, Vietnam tells a story of steady, disciplined growth. The Vietnamese dong, VND, is gaining credibility as a candidate for value adjustment, not because of volatility, but because of understated economic strength. Key developments include GDP growth projections of 6.8% for 2025, export surpluses and a favorable trade balance, a stable monetary policy backed by deliberate reforms from the State Bank of Vietnam, SBV. A May 2025 announcement from SBV officials signaling intent to reevaluate the dong's position in the global market. Instead of a dramatic revaluation, Vietnam appears to be pursuing a methodical path. Financial institutions such as Citibank and HSBC are reportedly preparing for VND-related operations behind closed doors. Several clients have reported interactions with bankers discussing onboarding processes, currency verification, and consultation scheduling. This measured approach suggests that if a revaluation occurs, it will be institutional rather than speculative, offering a stable opportunity for long-term currency holders. Zimbabwean Dollar, ZWL. Digital innovation meets historic skepticism. The Zimbabwean dollar, ZWL, has long been marred by hyperinflation, economic instability, and a complex redenomination history. Most U.S. banks still do not accept ZWL for retail exchange, and for good reason. The currency has lacked both domestic and international trust. However, in 2025, Zimbabwe surprised global observers by launching the ZIG, Zimbabwe Gold, a gold-backed digital currency introduced by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe in Q2. While still in its infancy, the ZIG has drawn attention from the World Bank, IMF, and other institutional stakeholders. These organizations are now providing technical support to Zimbabwe's monetary reform plans. Yet, despite its promise, ZIG is not yet integrated into U.S. banking infrastructure. Redemption pathways for ZWL in the U.S. remain highly restricted. Some private holders report involvement in contract-based redemptions or humanitarian project submissions, though many such arrangements are under non-disclosure agreements, NDA, and cannot be independently verified. In summary, while ZWL shows potential, it remains largely outside the scope of current bank readiness in the United States, which U.S. banks are preparing. A July 2025 snapshot here's what recent reports suggest about U.S. banks and their readiness. Wells Fargo, handling IQD on a case-by-case basis via appointment at select branches. Some reports mention internal FX team engagement. J.P. Morgan Chase, focusing on documentation and verification before engaging in any exotic currency transactions. Bank of America, quiet activity noted in private banking divisions, but little information from public-facing branches. Citibank, leading in structured onboarding for IQD and VND. Internal training is reportedly underway. HSBC, active in high-net-worth portfolios, especially in the Southeast U.S., with confirmed staff briefings on exotic currency matters. U.S. Bank, mixed signals. Some branches support VND exchanges, but IQD policies remain unclear. TD Bank, currently observing from the sidelines with no confirmed movement but monitoring developments. Despite a lack of public announcements, the pattern is clear. Internal activity is increasing. Financial institutions are taking a cautious, methodical approach, building frameworks before any public rollouts. How to prepare for a future redemption event if you're holding IQD, VND, or ZWL? Now is the time to act strategically, not emotionally. Here's how to prepare. 1. Contact banks in advance. Call ahead to identify which branches or departments deal with foreign currency. 2. Keep your currency in good condition. Clean, intact notes are essential. Damaged or questionable notes may be denied. 3. Organize documentation. Be prepared to prove where and how you acquired your currency. This may include receipts, dealer certificates, or notarized records. 4. Set up private appointments. Most potential exchanges will not happen at teller windows. Expect consultations with private bankers or FX specialists. 5. Avoid scams. Do not engage with unverified brokers, online redemption programs, or individuals promising instant payouts. Work only with licensed financial institutions. 6. Seek professional advice. Currency redemption may trigger tax implications. Consider speaking with a licensed accountant or financial advisor to plan accordingly. Exchange rate projections. What's the outlook? Although rates remain speculative, conservative financial models offer the following potential outlooks if conditions continue to improve. Iraqi Dinar, IQD, currently trading around 1,300 IQD per USD. Projections for 2025-2026 suggest a potential revaluation towards 751,000 IQD per USD. Vietnamese Dong, VND, hovering near 23,500 VND per USD. Long-term adjustments could move this range to 15,000-18,000 VND per USD. Zimbabwean Dollar, ZWL. No reliable public rate for exchange. ZIG may offer future opportunities, but it remains speculative and unrecognized by U.S. banks for now. These are not promises of overnight wealth, but they do represent meaningful returns for those who invested early and who remain informed and patient. Conclusion. From speculation to preparation after years of silence, things are finally starting to move. Staff conversations, system updates, and client experiences are slowly turning the idea of exotic currency redemption from myth to possibility. While there's still a long road ahead, the groundwork is being laid. And those who are organized, cautious, and informed will be best positioned to benefit. At Iraqi Dinar RV, we remain committed to providing you with timely, researched, and responsible updates. This isn't about hype, it's about clarity, preparation, and financial literacy. Stay alert, stay cautious, and stay ready. Disclaimer, this article is intended for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. The foreign exchange market is inherently risky and prone to misinformation. Consult with qualified professionals before making any investment decision. Iraqi Dinar RV is not liable for any losses or damages resulting from the use or reliance on this content.